Adventures on the Sword Coast, Chapter 13. Returning from the outskirts of the Drow city, Amos the Destroyer, Zurek and Princess Lady Amastacia make their way back to the surface and camp for the evening to recover from their adventures in the Underdark. They do not see Fairfax Whitbeam, who had returned to the surface early with Gil, the prisoner they had rescued from the Drow, or Alexis Songblessed, who had gone back to look for Fairfax. The party assume they must have returned to Phandalin. The next morning is bright and sunny, with only a few clouds in the sky. They decide to return to Phandalin to meet up with Fairfax and Alexis. As they head back off to town, Princess is very happy with her new magical blood axe they recovered from the Drow. Casting prestidigitation, pink and black glitter streams from the handle as they walk over the grassy meadows. They reach the outskirts of Phandalin by the afternoon, and as they approach the town, they notice flags and bunting of various colours adorning many of the buildings. Stopping briefly at their barracks, they see a note tacked to the front door. It reads, "Brought Gil back safely. Received communication that requires my urgent attention." The note is signed at the bottom, Alexis Songblessed. Amos looks at the note and sighs. "I shall miss his flag." Princess opens the barracks door and sees that Alexis has left it for the party, so casting prestidigitation, she cleans it up and hangs it on the flagpole outside at half-mast. There is no sign of Fairfax Whitbeam. After leaving most of their gear at the barracks, the party head into the centre of town. As they do so, they see children playing in the street. One is dressed in a feathery mask, another has a shield, and a third can be seen swinging a skipping rope. Amos, using his perception, realises that the children are acting out their adventures and battle with the dragon. The news that they were going to fight the dragon last time they left Phandalin must have travelled around the town. Amos shouts to the children, "Which one of you is playing Amos?" The children point towards a large grumpy child who is not joining in as much as the other children. Seeing this, Amos now has a wry smile on his face. Seeing the little girl with the skipping rope, Princess Lady Amastacia joins in and skips alongside her, much to the delight of the children. They then head to the centre of town to see what has been going on in their absence. There are much more people milling around the town square than usual. They noticed Sildar Hallwinter standing outside the townmaster's hall. Amos the Destroyer, looking at all the dragon-related celebrations, approaches Sildar and explains that they have not killed the dragon as they had been on a quest to obtain a magical weapon for Princess to help defeat the beast. Now that they had secured such an item, the party are now planning to go to the Sword Mountains, climb Ispire Peak and kill the dragon in its lair. Sildar Hallwinter asked if they had seen the note from Alexis Songblessed, as he had passed a message on to him that was received from Neverwinter. Amos acknowledges the urgent business Alexis had been called away for, and inquires if Sildar had seen Fairfax Whitbeam. He confirms that he has not seen Fairfax since he left the rescued Drow prisoner Gil in their care. Sildar explains that a celebration is planned in the Stonehill Inn tonight in honour of the protectors of Phandalin. They must come along, enjoy food and drink with the townsfolk. Plus, there was someone Sildar wanted them to meet. The party return to the barracks, freshen up and make their way to the Stonehill Inn. As they approach in the fading light, lanterns are being lit around the town. It is a scene of celebration and joy. As Amos, Zurek and Princess enter the inn, they are welcomed by clapping and a rousing cheer. To the protectors of Phandalin! Princess casts prestidigitation as pink and black glitter streams from the handle of her blood axe. The children laugh and dance with delight and try to work out how they can make glitter for their wooden weapons. Sildar greets the party and says, "Enjoy the free food and drink. But before you do, I've got someone I want you to meet." They discreetly make their way to a quiet corner of the inn. As they pass the bar, Toblin Stonehill nods and smiles at the party as he pours drinks for the thirsty townsfolk. Sildar approaches a shady table where a tall figure is sitting, his head bowed and hidden by a large cloak. As the figure slowly lifts his head, they notice that his hands are covered in a scaled dark green hide. Beneath the cloak, a dragon-like head looks up at the party. It is a dragonborn. Sildar says, "I'd like you all to meet Tristan. He is here to join the Protectors of Phandalin and help you defeat the dragon at Icespire Peak." Amos, Zurek and Princess welcome Tristan to the party and talk about their previous encounters with the dragon. Sildar leaves them to get acquainted and mentions that there are 20 gold pieces for each of the Protectors of Phandalin at the barracks for the work they have done. Tristan tells how he had heard of the party of adventurers based in Phandalin when he met a fellow druid on the road called Lita, a water genasi, who had been a member of the group for a while. Zurek remembered Lita and how she slept in the stream to the northwest of the town each night. Elsa, the barmaid, serves drinks to the table as they all start to get to know each other, swapping stories of great deeds and battles. Not wishing to drink, Zurek slips outside to take in the cool evening air and looks towards the Sword Mountains in the direction of Icespire Peak, and wonders what the dragon is up to this evening. His gaze returns to the street where the children are still playing. The celebrations carry on well into the evening, until the sound of children screaming, not in fun, but in terror, can be heard behind the townmaster's hall. Amos the Destroyer shouts, "To arms!" He grabs his great axe and runs outside to find the source of the screaming. He is closely followed by Princess and Tristan. Their eyes are met with townsfolk running about in fear and children hiding behind the Shrine of Luck. What could be causing the commotion? They look towards Zurek to see if he knows. As they do so, the sound of great flapping wings can be heard behind the townmaster's hall. To their horror, a white dragon lifts off over the rooftops, gaining height rapidly, a pig in each of its claws. The party prepare for battle, but looking around they decide to let the dragon go with its meal, as a battle in the centre of Phandalin could result in many innocent casualties. Soaring into the night sky, the dragon looks down and recognises Amos, Zurek and Princess. Hate fills its cold, dead eyes. It lets out a cold breath over the town, coating the rooftops in a light frost. Townsfolk run around gathering their children and hurry off the streets to their homes. Amos waves his great axe in the air and shouts, "Your days are numbered, dragon." He then turns to the townsfolk saying, "Take your children, go home, and we will deal with the dragon once and for all tomorrow." Sildar Hallwinter, who is now standing in the doorway of the Stonehill Inn, says, "Yes, you must deal with the dragon tomorrow." The streets quickly empty, the celebrations die down. Amos, Zurek and Princess, along with Tristan, return to the barracks to get some rest before the long day ahead and their confrontation with the dragon. The town is eerily quiet come the morning as the party prepare for their journey to the Sword Mountains and the climb to Icespire Peak. Heading to the Lion Shield Costa for supplies, they are greeted by Valine Firecrow. She recalls how scared she was when the dragon flew over the town last night, and was glad the protectors of Phandalin were here to scare the dragon away. Valine didn't want to come over to talk to Princess last night, as she was with her intimidating friends, glancing across to Amos and Zurek. Princess looks at the other barbarian and the Goliath and laughs. Those two, they're just big pussycats. Princess wishes to buy a longbow and offset the cost with a hand crossbow she has to sell. Valine informs her that the longbow is 50 gold pieces and will need to get Liney Greywind, the owner of the Lion Shield Costa, to get a price for the hand crossbow. Hearing that the longbow is 50 gold pieces, Amos mutters to himself in disbelief. How much for a longbow? Liney comes to the counter and takes over the negotiation. Hand crossbows usually sell in the shop for 75 gold pieces, so she's prepared to exchange the hand crossbow for the longbow. Amos says to Princess, "Get her to throw in 4 javelins." Using her persuasion, Princess gets Liney to agree to this deal, and Amos thanks Princess for the javelins. Tristan also decides to upgrade his armour, and another deal is done with Liney Greywind. Valine Faircrow comes back to the counter and wishes the party good luck in their quest to kill the dragon. Amos then heads to the miners' exchange to obtain some rope and grappling hooks, but the owner informs him that he needs to go to Barthen's Provisions for such mundane items. However, Zurek remembers he has a large precious gem in his pocket from an earlier adventure and agrees a sale price of 50 gold pieces. Heading up to Barthen's Provisions, they are greeted by Elmer Barthen, who is able to supply Amos with his rope and grappling hooks. Amos the Destroyer looks at Elmar and says, "Put this on account, Elmar." To which Elmar agrees, but only if he brings back a dragon tooth in exchange for the items. Amos thinks this is a great deal, as if he doesn't come back after his encounter with the dragon, it is probably because he is dead. Zurek also steps in and asks Elmar to put a hooded lantern and 4 flasks of oil on account as well. Amos looks confused, as Zurek already has a lantern, but as he turns around, he gives the lantern to Amos as a gift. In that moment, they have a brief feeling of friendship. They introduce Tristan to Elmar, who looks at him with distrust. They have not seen many dragonborn in Phandalin. Tristan responds by saying, "You have no need to fear me." There is one final person to visit before embarking on their quest. That is to visit Sister Garelli's house, to obtain a healing potion for Tristan. As they approach her house, they see her at the Shrine of Luck, replacing the stones that were inadvertently dislodged by the children last night. She bids them good morning and is pleased to see that they are well. Zurek inquires if she has any healing potions. Sister Garelli has 2 left and is prepared to sell them for only 40 gold pieces each. Zurek and Tristan purchase the healing potions, and looking at the Dragonborn says, "So you are joining these fine people who saved me from the Manticore?" Tristan replies, "Yes, ma'am." Sister Garelli looks at the party and says, "May the God of Luck be with you all." Grabbing their provisions from the barracks, the protectors of Phandalin head off east towards the Sword Mountains. They hope to reach the foothills leading to Icespire Peak by nightfall. Amos suggests that when they set camp for the evening, that they should hide it so as not to attract the attention of the dragon. Zurek has a different viewpoint, saying that they should camp in the open so that the dragon would be tempted to attack them rather than Phandalin if it were to fly west. Why? Thought Amos. The party follows a well-trodden path that seems to lead in the direction of Icespire Peak. A few hours before nightfall, they see 3 creatures on the road ahead, accompanied by a man dressed in robes. Probably a wizard. The wizard addresses the party by saying, "Finally, I see you with my own eyes." As he talks, the creatures in front of him start to growl. Amos responds, "How do you know us?" The wizard replies, "You've had dealings with me before." Amos is frustrated and shouts, "What dealings?" Princess repeats this, What dealings?" The wizard says something to the creatures and says, "I need to know the truth." With this, the first Gorgon starts to charge down the path, followed by the second and the third. Zurek doesn't recognise the voice of the wizard, so charges forward to meet the creatures. Tristan casts Infestation as a swarm of flies appears 30 foot ahead of the party, partly blocking the path. He then casts Flame Blade on his weapon. He now holds a flaming blade in one hand and a hand axe in the other. The wizard shouts, "No more chatter. Let's see how you do against my Gorgons." Amos the Destroyer runs forward and throws 2 javelin at the wizard. Even with the disadvantage of being almost 100 feet away, both find their mark. With a wry smile, Amos shouts, "How'd you like that, wizard?" Princess goes into a rage and runs towards the topmost Gorgon as the middle Gorgon charges at Zurek. It gores him with its horns, and with its immense strength throws the Goliath to the floor. The Gorgon near Princess stops its charge and lets out a great breath. A gaseous fog envelops Princess Lady Amastacia, but a strong constitution saves her. The Gorgon at the bottom of the path charges at Amos. As it passes Zurek, he makes an opportunistic swing at the creature, but misses. Its horns strike Amos the Destroyer, and although wounded, his strength saves him from being knocked down. Zurek now gets up and attacks the Gorgon with Lightbringer. He misses twice, but the third swing of his mighty mace hits the creature. It looks like they can damage these foul beasts. Tristan moves forward and throws his hand axe at the Gorgon attacking Amos, but misses. The wizard shouts, "Don't throw javelins at me. Deal with the Gorgons," as he casts a spell and gracefully floats 30 feet up into the air. Amos the Destroyer now goes into a reckless rage frenzy. His first swing with his great axe misses, but the second causes a critical hit on the Gorgon, followed quickly by a third solid strike. Princess Lady Amastacia charges at the Gorgon that breathed on her. Swinging her blood axe into battle, pink and black glitter can be seen streaming from its handle, but misses. With this, the Gorgon tries to trample Princess in return. Hooves bear down on her, and with advantage they hit her in the head, but she's not bothered by the bludgeoning damage caused by the hooves. The Gorgon Amos the Destroyer hit also breathes out a foul gas at Tristan and himself, but their strong constitution saved them from any effects the gas might have had on them. The third Gorgon then gores Zurek. He winces in pain. Zurek positions himself behind the Gorgon and returns the blow with Lightbringer. The mace misses on the first swing, but the second hits hard. Tristan moves forward and engages the Gorgon fighting Amos. He casts Inflict Wounds, but it fails to make contact with the beast. The wizard starts to mock the party, calling out, "You seem to be struggling. Maybe you are not the heroes I thought you were. And with this he floats up further into the evening sky. Amos the Destroyer moves around to the rear of the Gorgon he is in combat with, and wields his great axe 3 times, the third swing making contact with the beast. Princess Lady Amastacia continues to attack with her blood axe, and also damages the creature, while the Gorgon fighting Zurek breathes out a noxious gas that envelops the Goliath, but again his great constitution means it has little effect. The other Gorgon hits Princess and growls at her, while the third retreats as both Amos and Tristan get opportunity attacks on the creature. It then breathes out a deadly gas, to which Amos and Tristan are saved by their strong constitution. Zurek continues to press home his attack and hits the Gorgon in front of him with Lightbringer. Manoeuvring, he shouts at Amos to advance. Amos looks back at Zurek blankly. Tristan then drops his concentration on the flaming blade and summons an air elemental that moves immediately into contact with the Gorgon. It performs 2 slam attacks on the creature, but both miss. The wizard points his finger towards Tristan, and in his mind he hears a voice say, "Don't waste your magic on me, Dragonborn. I'm too powerful for you." Amos moves back towards the bottom Gorgon and swings his great axe again, which hits home twice, one critically. Princess continues to recklessly attack the Gorgon at the bottom of the path with her blood axe, still streaming pink and black glitter from the handle. She scores a solid hit on the creature. Again, the Gorgon hits Zurek, who is starting to look bloodied. The top Gorgon tramples Princess, but she is not concerned by this bludgeoning damage. Taking another deep breath, the third Gorgon breathes its toxic gas on Amos the Destroyer, who with his mighty constitution laughs at the creature. Zurek is now starting to feel tired and swings twice at the Gorgon. Even with second wind, he still misses. Tristan moves forwards and casts Blight on the bottom Gorgon. At the same time, he commands the air elemental to slam into the middle Gorgon, which it does, causing damage to the creature. Amos the Destroyer, still in a rage, scores 2 more solid hits on the Gorgon, and it slumps to the ground, dead. With a wry smile, he turns to look at the wizard and shouts, "I'm coming for you next." The wizard says, "Well, I was expecting you to defeat the Gorgons. Are you not the heroes?" Princess Lady Amastacia, ignoring the wizard, hits the closest Gorgon with her blood axe, which then hits her back with its hooves. The other remaining Gorgon gores the air elemental. Zurek strikes a solid blow on the Gorgon next to him, and then using Shieldmaster, he shoves the beast towards Princess, then runs towards the wizard. Tristan moves forward to attack the Gorgon Zurek shoved, but misses with his hand axe. The air elemental, under his control, then slams into the beast again. The wizard, seeing Zurek charge towards him, casts Firebolt, but it seems to intentionally explode at his feet as he shouts, "Concentrate on the Gorgon. I'm too powerful for you." Amos the Destroyer, seeing an opportunity, runs towards the wizard shouting, "Stop playing games with us," and throws a javelin that critically hits him. This breaks his concentration and he plunges to the ground, but casting another spell he manages to slow his fall and floats gently to the ground. Amos throws another 2 javelin. One of these finds its mark and hits the wizard. Meanwhile, Princess Lady Amastacia pulls out her chain weapon, swings it twice above her head and hits the 2 remaining Gorgons. Amos shouts out to Tristan, "Princess has all the cool weapons." Princess smiles and says, "This is what happens when you steal other people's toys." As her chain tangles the legs of the Gorgons, both fall to the ground. Amos says, "Can you lead with that next time, Princess?" One of the Gorgons stands back up and stomps in anger at Tristan. Hitting him badly, the other gets up and gnaws Princess. Zurek runs towards the wizard and stands tall looking down at their mystery foe, while Tristan casts Healing Word on Princess, who smiles back at the druid. The air elemental then slams into the Gorgon again. The wizard looks up at Zurek and the advancing Amos and says, "Well, I expected you to defeat this challenge, but the real challenge is in the mountains. I will be watching you." Then, casting another spell, he disappears. As he does so, the two remaining Gorgons crumble to dust. Frustrated, Princess angrily smashes the remains of one of the Gorgons in front of her. As the party investigate the scene of the battle, a voice in their heads says, "You decided to attack me, but you've proven your strategy. You fell into my pit and fought me at the farm. Let's see how you do at Icespire Peak. You may be the adventurers I'm looking for." They carry on to the foothills of Icespire Peak and make camp. During the night, Zurek notices an arcane floating eye hovering over the camp, to which he responds with a suitable rude gesture. A voice in their head says, "Remember, I'm watching, always." The party can see Icespire Peak in the distance from the camp, and imagine Cryovane, the white dragon, waiting for them at the top of the path Amos the Destroyer and Princess Lady Amastacia saw in their vision.